Hi everyone. Today we're going to talk about GitHub and how you can get started using it. So first of all, Git is a versioning tool used mainly by software developers or DevOps folks to create, maintain, and modify code. GitHub is a really popular service that allows you to do all of this either in a browser or in a desktop app or even through the CLI. So now I mentioned code, but you can also do things like create instruction sets here, write books, or even maintain your very own DNS, DHCP, and IPAM documentation, just as an example. It just so happens that GitHub is where we at Men&Mice maintain our documentation and make it publicly available for all of you. So if you're looking for a good place to get started to learn all about GitHub and automation or DevOps, look no further. So let's go through a few simple things. So right now I'm just going to sign in as a regular user that hasn't really done much yet. This is what I'll see when I don't have any repositories or repos, places where I store code that I've either gotten from someplace else or that I've written myself. What I can do pretty quickly here is just search for Men&Mice. And I do see a Men&Mice Terraform provider. So let's just click on that. If I click on Men&Mice, the owner here, that'll actually take me to all of the repos available to the public since I'm not on as an admin right now. So Maestro Docs is where we're going to go today. You can see we have a lot of information right here. There's usually a README file in these repos, which may or may not be filled out. What I want to show you first is the image file. So this is actually where we keep all of our images that are located within the documentation. So if I were to click on one of these, I can actually see an image that is located somewhere in our docs. You'll notice, though, that these are not, in any particular order, right? So it doesn't look exactly like what you might see if you were to go to our documentation pages, for example. If I click on guides, because that's what we call it, this is actually where we keep all of our text, if you will. So it very much aligns with, if I scroll to the top here, the Maestro install guide, the Maestro user guide, the admin guide, et cetera, et cetera. So as a user, you can simply peruse through all of these things. Again, they're not in order except for alphabetical order. So if you know what you're looking for, then you're in good shape. But if you don't know what you're looking for, we make that pretty easy too. If you just go to docs.menandmice.com, this is a read the docs page. So although we maintain and update our documentation in GitHub through a series of webhooks and duct tape and magic, we are able to then import that into Read the Docs, which is then imported into our very own Men&Mice docs on our website. So you can see I can pretty easily get to wherever I want to go. Up here is an Edit on GitHub tab. Now, earlier I was going through and I noticed there was a problem within my documentation. So what I want to do is show you all how you, as a regular user, can go through and make suggestions on how we can improve our documentation or what we can add. When I got started just finding typos and finding, small ways to improve things within other people's documentation. So that's pretty much what I'm going to show you here. So again, I found this. This clearly should be some sort of markdown text that will allow me to kind of highlight that this is a next button. It should not say GUI label : next. So that's cool that I found that. I'm going to go ahead and click Edit on GitHub. Now it's a little confusing here, so I am actually still logged in as Maestro user, even though you can kind of see my actual name and face right here, just because I was the last contributor to this documentation. But keep in mind, I am logged in as Maestro user, so this is what you'll see as a regular user as well. And we can scroll through and find that same issue. You'll notice that you see it actually written out for most of these. You're seeing the actual markdown text. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this pencil icon. But what I want you to do is watch right up here under fork what happens. So I've clicked this pencil icon and notice that fork went to 1. So what's a fork? A fork is essentially just a copy of the entire repository, including any, README files or image files, et cetera, et cetera. You can also manually go in and create a fork too. That's certainly a possibility. You'll even see this fun little notification telling you that if you do make any changes, you are not going to be making changes directly to the Men&Mice repository. What this will automatically do for you, but what you could also do manually, is create a Maestro user / Maestro Docs fork or copy, right? And now we'll just look for that same error. So if we want to go back, just double check where we found that error. And we had it under the new DHCP v6 scope. So you know what, let's just do a quick search for that. V6, there we go. Because we're in a browser, we can just use the browser tools. And now I believe, let's just make sure we get the right one. Step 4 is where we are. So there's something wrong with this step 4. It can take a second to spot it. So I see it right now, and it's that I have the word label misspelled. So we'll go ahead, we'll correct that, and then we can go down and click Propose Changes. Now we're automatically comparing across forks already because I didn't go through the extra steps of manually creating a repo and then going in and committing. So there are different ways to kind of go about this depending on what your familiarity is and what your comfort is. But you can see right here, my base repository is Men&Mice / Maestro Docs. Now that's the original. I'm working in version 10.2. Very important to keep checking which versions that you are working in and that you are correcting or modifying the correct version. Now the head repository is the one that I'm actually currently working in and making changes to. So that's correct, right? Under Maestro user, Maestro Docs. So this is my repository as a regular user. And then it's automatically created a patch version. And what this is asking me then is, do I want to create a pull request to notify the admin at Men&Mice that I think there's a change that should be made and we need to merge my repo with their repo for this particular version. And you can see down here which changes have been made. So in the green, we have GUI label spelled correctly. In the red, we have it spelled incorrectly. So in order to make this request, and again, this isn't going to go through because I'm not an admin, right? So we'll create the pull request. It automatically fills in a title for me, update DHCP scopes.rst. If you want to be really helpful, and I do think it's a best practice, put in what you are suggesting to change, especially since you are a user who may or may not be known by the admin. So go ahead and put updated spelling of GUI label markdown. And then I can go ahead and create this pull request. Okay, that all looks copacetic. And then as an admin, of course, I can come in and see that pull request that was created. So we'll go on over to my Maestro Docs. I'll click on pull requests. And now I see that 1 minute ago, Maestro user created a pull request, and then I can go in and say, yep, go ahead and merge this pull request. Confirm merge. Now, if I were to go to the same documentation and do a reload, it's not going to be there right away because it does take a few minutes for our builds to complete. But once the admin has created or merged the code, the new code that you've submitted, then we're off to the races. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope this gave you just a really quick view into how you can get started using GitHub. As always, please reach out. I am at Malhoy on Twitter. I am Lauren Malhoy on LinkedIn, or reach out to Men&Mice directly. And we'd love to hear more from you on what you would like to see regarding DevOps and automation in your DDI environments. Thanks, everyone.